Hi, third grade. With your test in social studies on the West region tomorrow, I thought it would be a good idea for us to go through the study guide together. So get out your notebook and get to the page where you have your West study guide, and let's go through it. The first thing I want to say is don't forget that on a social studies test, I'm not going to take off for spelling, but I do need to recognize your words. So make sure that you can spell them well enough that I know what you're trying to tell me. Something that we don't normally think about is since your parents are going to be taking a photo or scanning me your test, you want to make sure you're writing with pencil dark so that I can see your answers. Mechanical pencils tend not to be very dark, so if you have like a number 2 pencil so that I can make sure that I can read what you wrote, that would be good. Let's see. So if I'm looking at your study guide, you know you need to match the states with the capitals. So practice with your flashcards. If you, for some reason, don't have your flashcards, they didn't make it home, you have the states and capital map glued in your notebook, okay? So get that out and study that if you don't have your flashcards, okay? We always, with the regions, talk about the natural resources, vegetation, landmarks, landforms, and the climate of the region. So review those in your Touring of the States mini booklet in your notebook. The Touring of the States mini booklet has most of the information you need for your test. The other booklet that we tried this time was more just of a boost for information. If you want to focus your studying in on the Tour of the States mini booklet, that will help you with your test. Let's see. Let's not forget that the difference between a natural resource and a landmark is made by people, and a natural resource is not, right? So don't forget that one. Let's see. Alaska is the state that's detached from the United States. So you might think to yourself, that's like a trick question because Hawaii seems detached to me. But if you look at the map, okay, here's Alaska attached to Canada. It is detached from our United States, but it is still part of the North American continent. Hawaii is completely separate. So it's not just detached, it's completely separate. It's its own set of islands. So if that will help you remember that Hawaii is completely separated, that might help. Be careful with that one because even though Alaska is attached to Canada, it is detached from our United States, okay? So that's kind of a tricky one. Make sure you study that question on your study guide. Make sure you can distinguish between the Pacific region of states in the West and the mountain states region in the West. And what I did was I went back and I labeled my state capital map. I put a P on the Pacific region states, the ones that border the Pacific Ocean, and I put an M on the mountain states so that I just get more familiar with where they are. You should have 6 mountain states, and there are 5 Pacific region states. Don't forget Alaska and Hawaii. It's not just the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, and California. Alaska and Hawaii are included in that, in the Pacific region, okay? Death Valley is the Mojave Desert. It's in the Mojave Desert. It is one of the hottest and driest places in the U.S. Okay, we know that California, Oregon, and Washington all have oil as a resource. So I went back on my map and I drew little oil towers on those states just to help me remember which ones have the big oil deposits. And you could try that too to help you study. Wyoming is lucky because it's got most of the Yellowstone National Park in it. And Mount Hood is a dormant sleeping volcano. Now I know my curious minds are thinking, well, which state is Mount Hood in? And Mount Hood you can find in Oregon. And I'm going to just put for extra information if you have time and are curious about Mount Hood on my YouTube page, but it's not something that you need for your tests. So maybe don't check it out today. I'd rather you study, but it'll be there for you in the social studies playlist if you ever get curious about Mount Hood. Okay? All right, so I think that if you practice labeling your map in your notebook and you study from the study guide, you should be all set. We've spent a lot of time on the West region, and hopefully you feel comfortable. If you have any questions before the test, just ask your parents to email me. And tomorrow when we take the test, hopefully your parents will be able to either scan it to me in an email or take a picture of it and send it to me, okay? All right, great. Good luck studying, and I will talk to you tomorrow.